let's finish up section 1.8 here. We were talking about composition of functions. We have an application problem here. It says an artist shops online for tubes of watercolor paint. The cost is $16 for each 14 milliliter tube of paint. Write a function representing the cost C of x in dollars for x tubes of paint. Well, we've done cost functions before. C of x would equal at $16 a tube and x tubes 16x. That's pretty straightforward. Then it says there's a 5.5% sales tax on the cost of the merchandise and a fixed cost of $4.99 for shipping. Write a function representing the total cost T of A for $1 spent in merchandise. Well, in this case, T of A would be, now what do we have here? We have, let's see, we have A spent in merchandise. So $8 is what's spent in merchandise, plus we have tax, 0.055 times A, plus we have $4.99 that we have altogether in shipping. Now hang on a second, let's see, we have A is the total cost, so let's see here that we would have this is 1A plus 0.055A, that'd be 1.055A plus 4.99, and that would be the total cost in $8. Now, if we compose this function and this function, we find T circle C of x. So that would be T of C of x, which would be T of, now in here for C of it, that we're going to put 16x. That should make sense. Then we're going to take T of this, so we're plugging this in for the rule here. So this would be 1.055, then 16x in there for A, plus 4.99. Let's see, 1.055 times 16, need my calculator handy, I think it's 16.88x plus 4.99. And this would be the cost of, it says interpret the meaning in context. This would be the total cost to buy X tubes of paint. So we would just write that out. I didn't leave myself very much space, but this would be the total cost of buying X tubes of paint. Now, T circle C of 18 means I'm just plugging 18 back into this rule here. So this would be T circle C of 18 would be 16.88 times 18 plus the 4.99. So I have to multiply 16.88 times 18, add 4.99, round it to the nearest penny, to the nearest hundredth, and I get 308 point, I believe it's 83, and this is going to be, of course in money here, it says interpret the meaning of the context. To order 18 tubes of paint, it would cost $308.83, and again I would write that out, I just didn't leave myself very much space. And that's composing function, taking a function of a function. Inside function, outside function. Now let's reverse this for a couple of examples here. Let's say that we have a composite function and we try to find two simpler functions that when we compose them give us this guy. Well, we would want to determine what's the inside function, what's the outside function. Well, G would be the inside, F would be the outside. Well, the inside function, think of it like this. If I plug in a number for x, I would find out what 5x plus 1 is first. I would multiply 5 times the number, add 1. Then I would take, this is a 5 here, the index, the fifth root of this expression. So the first thing I would do would be my inside function. So I would say that g of x would be the 5x plus 1. And then the outside function is what I do at the end, which is to take the fifth root. So f of x would be the fifth root of x, whatever that is. Now you can compose these in check, which is really nice. Another one right up here, very similar. P of x is equal to the square root of x minus 3, that's outside the radical. Find two functions, f and g, such that f circle g of x is equal to p of x. So my inside function here, what would I do first? Well, the first thing I would do if I plugged in a number for x is I would take the square root of it. Then, the last thing I would do is I would subtract 3 from that. So my inside function, g of x, would be the square root function, and then my outside function would mean I would have to subtract 3. it would be x minus 3. And again, compose those, see if you don't get back to p of x there. Now this last one's a little weird in that I'm going to use graphs and I'm going to find values here of operations, sums, differences, products, whatever it might be, and of course composition of values. Now the only drawback here is that I drew this and I tried to be as neat and as even, so I'm hoping that the numbers match up conveniently. The examples that you'll see in the book are a little bit more specifically drawn out so you can find them a little bit easier. F minus g of negative 2. Well, this would be f of negative 2 minus g of negative 2. F of negative 2, f is the Brown function here of negative 2. F of negative 2, here it is, negative 2, would be positive 2, it looks like. Here's negative 2 here. Notice the open circle, I almost got thrown off by that. So that's going to be a positive 2. Here, we'll do it over here. And g of negative 2, that's the one in purple, that would be, it looks like, a negative 2 for its y value. So I have 2 minus negative 2, or 4. Okay? F divided by g of 3 would be f of 3 divided by g of 3. F of 3 over here would be, looks like 2, and g of 3 looks like it's negative, let's see, looks like it's negative 2. So I have 2 divided by negative 2, or negative 1 there for that value. G times f, there's no time symbol between, but it's understood to be multiplication, would be g of 5 times f of 5. Let's see, g of 5, that'd be way over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's 5. Let's see, g of 5 is, well, it's hard to tell. It looks like it's a half, negative a half. I think it's probably supposed to be 0, but then again, there goes my graph. But we'll just do it as we see it here. And then we have f of 5. That would be down here at negative 2. So I have negative a half times, or excuse me, I have up here, negative 1 half times negative 2, so that would be a positive 1. G circle f of 5 would be g of f of 5. So that'd be g of, f of 5. Didn't we just have that? That was negative 2. And g of negative 2, I think we did that once before. G of negative 2 was also negative 2, so g of negative 2 is negative 2. Let's see, this would be f of g of 5. I think I just did g of 5, didn't I? Yeah, I got negative 1 half, so this is f of negative 1 half. Oh, this will be fun. F of negative 1 half appears to be, it looks like 3. So I'm just using the graph and estimating best that I can with my graphs to find these values, to find these y values. F of g of 0, let's see, g of 0 is what I have to do first. G of 0 would be, well, it looks like it's 5 and 1 half. 5 and 1 half. Let's see, g of 0. Oh, no, hang on. Where am I? I'm going for the wrong value here. Thought that was awkward. G of 0 would be down here at 1, 2, 3, negative 4, excuse me. And then f of negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, well, it's not even defined. It stops here right at negative 3, not including it, so this is undefined. Almost messed up there, but I'm using the graph to find the values when you're not given the rules and all you have are the equations to deal with, and that's the best that you can do, and hopefully you'll have a better graph than the one I've drawn. Remember, practice, practice, practice.